Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Speedrun Insider. My name is CJ, it's all good. Thank you so much for joining me this week, as you do every week. Please continue to like, comment, subscribe, give us 5 stars. If you only give us 4 stars, I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. Thank you, Bomani Jones of ESPN, for the quip. If you continue to support the show in the way that you do, we can keep the show free of the influence of algorithms and ad buys and all of that stuff that we don't want to deal with. We just want to talk to the people that we want to talk to, so keep doing the things that you're doing. It is helping. We are seeing the results, and our hard work is paying off. Want to take a second to thank you to everybody who's been listening to the show. As of the time that we were recording this, it will be the end of 2021. Obviously, this episode will come out during 2022. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who listened to us during 2021. It was a ride. It was a fun ride. Thank you to everyone who was patient during not 1, but 2 extended absences. Mostly, the first one was an accident, to be fair, but the second one, obviously, I appreciate everyone's patience. And thank you to everybody. When you join the Discord, you have access to the Speedrun Insider podcast channel. There is a role that is pinged every time a new episode is uploaded. As soon as it is uploaded, I upload the podcast, and then as soon as I do, I hit ping. I ping the role. You can be a part of the conversation. You can vote on polls. You can only do that if you're in the Discord. And the reason I mention that is because this is a special episode of Speedrun Insider. This is Speedrun Insider All Stars. The guests were decided by you, the listeners. And this person was not on the poll. Sorry, he was on the poll. He did not receive votes. He didn't even vote for himself. So this was a power of the people moment, a write-in on the ballot at the final hour. There was only supposed to be 8. There's going to be 9. And my guest today is that lucky write-in ballot, the Manchurian candidate, as it were. I would never call him the Manchurian candidate in real life outside of jest, because I care about him too much. He is the lost member of Creedence Clearwater Revival. He is the stand-in for Jesus at the Mall during Easter. He has a really cool fucking guitar. And we're going to talk for the next 90 minutes. It's jakefsomenumbers. How you doing, bud?
Whoa! Who's that jakefsomenumbers guy? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, right? I know. Couldn't be you.
Couldn't be me. The ninth guy.
The ninth guy. Did I ever tell you about this girl that I used to work with?
Maybe, but I will hear it again.
So she was like, I'm giving her height and weight to give you an idea that she was a very tiny woman. She was like 5'3", and like she was 120 pounds, but like only in one area, right? So she just had very large assets at her disposal. Okay. And otherwise thin as a rail and tiny, short. And tiny in stature. Squat, maybe, is the word you might use. A very short, squat lady. She was remarkably unpleasant to work with, but we used to do food challenges at my job during lunch. We would, back when we were thinner and, had less to live for, we would gorge ourselves on food that we would order and have delivered, and it'd be like a whole thing. So, we had ordered 5 Guys, and I said, I will buy you 5 Guys if you get a sandwich that has extra all the toppings, so extra everything, and has an extra patty, and if you eat it in front of me in 15 minutes.
That's a lot.
And she said yes. So, for those of you that have been to 5 Guys, or you don't know all the toppings, or you haven't been there in a while, I'm going to read to you all the toppings, okay? So not only did she get all the toppings, It's really gonna make me put in my zip code. Okay, not only did she get all the toppings, she got extra. So she got extra of all the toppings. And there is a topping that they don't offer anymore, which I will point out when we get there. Okay. So she got a bacon cheeseburger, right? So right off top, we got bacon. She had, and this is all more than the normal amount. So she had mayo, onions, grilled onions, so raw onions and grilled onions, A1 steak sauce, relish, lettuce, grilled mushrooms, barbecue sauce, ketchup, pickles, green peppers, hot sauce, mustard, tomatoes, jalapeno peppers, with an extra patty, and they don't offer it anymore, extra cheese. So, and the deal with Five Guys, right, you can add as many toppings as you want. So you could have all of them, it doesn't increase the price. That burger, as I just described it, with extra of all of those toppings, takes that burger from already being a whopping 1,000-calorie ordeal, right, to over 2,000 calories.
Jeez. And it just sounds disgusting.
To say nothing of the grams of fat, which would surely make her ill, right? Like, to speak nothing of the fact, right? Just the extra patty alone. Jake, how many calories do you think the third burger patty adds?
The third patty probably adds like 200 to 300.
Yes, it's about 266. You were right on the money. Nice. Right? Mayo adds 100. With extra, it was like 200 calories just from mayonnaise. But do you really want to... Now, I don't like mayo. But if I'm going to force half a cow in my mouth, I need some lubricant. Mayo just greases the wheel, baby. So, right? She ordered that. I ordered that for her. I paid for it. It was like... I forget what the whole bill was because I bought lunch for everybody that day, but I bought her a burger. And there's a photo that I have of it. I have a photo of her with the burger, which I will send you after the show. And it's sitting in the aluminum. The bag is like fucking ripped because it's just soaked with grease. And I gave her $10 to put fries in the mess. So she put some fries in there too. And like, you know, I'm a foot taller than this girl almost, right? I'm at least 40 pounds bigger than her at the time. And she ate the whole thing.
Jesus.
She was mopping the bun up in the drippings from the aluminum foil.
I wonder if she went home and just fucking threw up.
Well, listen. She said that she didn't. Now, I don't know if that's true. She said
I don't believe
that went through her. She said that came out God's way. Right? It was processed. So, that challenge, and the whole reason I brought this up, that challenge became known as the sixth guy. Right? So, it's 5 guys. That's the sixth. So it's just this little bit. It was heavy. It was so much. It was just so much excess. It is like a testament of the American experience that this burger was allowed to be purchased for $10. That you could get this burger, taxes included, for $10. Okay, this is like excess ad nauseum. It was disgusting, right? And and I know that we do have some European listeners, and you know that the American portions are ridiculous. And that the American portions are like sometimes twice as much as the European equivalent. I'm telling you right now, this thing sounded like a baby. Like it had it was like flesh hitting the table. Right? Just awful. So, other people have tried the sixth guy. Okay? Now, I can't do it. Because I don't like most of the toppings. There is a unique problem in that you have to find someone who not only wants to do the challenge, but
likes all the things.
Yeah, right? So, like, I think you can. I hate mayo. Mayo makes me retch. Like, ugh, right? I gave Cece $10 one time to eat a spoonful of mayo, thinking it would be an impossible feat, and he did it on stream, and then went in for his second one. And I'm sick thinking about it.
I hate mayo so much.
We've had grown men, bodybuilders. We've had only one other person ever did the challenge. Only one other person ever passed it. Okay? And she was another girl that worked there. Again, 5 foot nothing, weighed 90 pounds. She weighed 98 pounds when she had that thing. I was like, and someone said, where's she putting it? I said, where is she not putting it? She's got nothing but space. She ate that whole fucking thing. Just, like, I remember she was eating the cheese that got stuck to the foil. Like, awful. So, I mean, we've done have you ever done food challenges? Like, other food challenges?
I've never really done food challenges because, like, as I've gotten older, like, my ability to eat an excess amount of food has definitely diminished.
Yes.
So
100%.
I used to, like, be able to get, like, I'd get a burger from Five Guys and, like, the large fries, and now, like, I get a large fry and I'm just like, well, that's going to be like 3/4 of those fries going in the trash can. So
yeah,
like,
it's a lot.
So it's like now I get a small fry and I'm like, still feel like I'm getting a large fry. What the fuck?
They scoop so much excess into the bag, you know?
I mean, I appreciate that because bag fries are where it's at, man.
Especially for them, because the fries in the cup just become like wet noodles.
Yeah.
There's just so much steam and gunk. I don't have a word for it. Gunk. Sounds about right.
I just wish it was so expensive. I'd go there so more often than I do.
You know, I kind of been talking about this with a few people, but it's my estimation that like fast food is like it masquerades as food. It's not food. I think most of the time we can look at this and be like, this is not food. This is edible quick. Right? Like, quick the noun. It is just something to eat fast.
It is nutrition in a form.
It is calories. I don't even want to say nutrition. It is like I think the closest you can get to like nutrition, you'd probably be at like Chipotle, right? Like that's probably the closest you're gonna get, I think.
It also depends on where you live, because here in Missouri, I have a local fast food place called Lion's Choice. It's like if Arby's was good.
Oh, gross. Dude, like, the concept of a roast beef restaurant, like, that these were popular at one point.
Yeah, like, Arby's roast beef is fake processed nastiness, but, like, Lion's Choice is fresh cut roast beef sandwiches on steamed buns, and it's fucking... it's just so good. That
sounds good. That does sound good.
But it's local to where I live. So it's like you can find like good, like actual nutritional fast food places. It's just they're never going to be like spread out too much.
Right. Like we have a hot dog shop here, which is a local institution, and it is really good. However, they're not convenient. There's this idea, like my friends, I have a friend whose parents work for a bank. It's not you, JR. If you're listening to this while you're editing it, it's not you. And this idea that like...
Yeah, heck you, JR.
Yeah, heck you, JR. Sorry. There was this idea that like they were opening branches that were not going to be efficient because it would add convenience for their existing members. And I was like, I guess. I never thought of that. But, like, think of, like, your first bank account and how, like, it was probably at a bank close to you or that was easy to get to. And then you moved and you fucked it all up and now your bank's across town or whatever. God. Yeah. Awful, right? my bank went from being like a 2-minute drive and like a nice like residential area to now it's like, oh, there's this like small railroad store. It's across a bridge and it's on a one-way and it's not the way you're going.
And it's just an ATM and it's just like in a hut somewhere, just out there.
It's like, hey, it used to be like one of those fast photo developing places. They retrofitted into a bank.
24-hour photos.
24-hour photos
from that 70s show.
Yeah, right, exactly. Tommy. Oh my god, what's his name?
Tommy Chong.
Chong, yes, thank you. Tommy Chong lives in the hut.
Oh my god.
But I was saying the hot dog place, right? It's just inconvenient to go there. There's one uptown. There's 5 of them. One of them is in the capital, which is like an hour and a half away. One of them is in the next town over, which is fine, but it's like a 20-minute drive. One of them's in uptown where there's no parking. One of them it's in midtown where there's no parking except for there is parking, but now you have to pay for it.
Oh god.
And the third one, the other one, which is in a building that is actually a good size. It's not this tiny like counter place. It has parking. You know, it's everything that you want, and it's good, and the food is perfect, except it's 10 minutes out of town.
Oh.
It's just like, okay, why though? And they only take cash. And
that's it for me. I couldn't go there.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just so frustrating. It's like you have to be so deliberate to go there. That's why fast food, because it's always about convenience, right? It's like, it's cost and convenience. There is a McDonald's everywhere you could possibly fucking look, right?
I can throw a rock at one from where I live.
Yeah, exactly. They're everywhere. Or it's like, if there's not a McDonald's, there's something. And they're just there. And they have an app. You don't even have to get out of your car. You don't even have to drive your car around the building if you don't want. Just park it. They'll come to you. You don't have to interact with anybody. It's just like, oh my god. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's me. And also speaking on it, like hot dogs, if you get anything more than just like ketchup or mustard on it, it becomes the least convenient thing to eat because it just gets messy.
Yeah. You're eating an open sandwich at that point. Like an open Reuben.
Just like, man, I just want to take a bite of my chili dog. Oh, great. Now there's chili all over me. Thank you, hot dog.
They do, and their signature dog is they put meat sauce on it. So you're not eating that in the car. You're not, like, going there on your work lunch, you know? So, like, as awful as McDonald's is, and it sits like a wet brick in the bag and then in your gut, and as awful as all these places are, they're everywhere. It's cheap. I mean, listen, you know, like, it's like, yeah, you could just go to the grocery store and wait online and then get a grocery store sandwich. Maybe. But, like, you can eat McDonald's while you're driving back to your job. The problem is it's not food.
It definitely doesn't taste like food sometimes, that's for sure.
It doesn't. I can't smell. But things kind of taste like how... Most things taste like how I remember them tasting before I lost my sense of smell. So I'm pretty confident in saying this isn't just a me issue. Nothing tastes like food. Like, I have ketchup. I have ketchup in my fridge. They put ketchup on this burger, and I'm like, this is not what ketchup tastes like. It's like onions. Onions are a great one. You've had onions, right? You have like a salad, or you have like a sauce, right? You have a sandwich, it has onions on it. You get like a McDonald's burger with the diced onions, and it's like, this tastes like Legos.
There's no way that's actually onions. But no, I get what you're saying because I have the same issue. I don't have a completely removed sense of smell, but it's diminished. So yeah, certain foods are nothingness to me. They taste like absolute nothing.
Can I tell you? I want to compare notes now because I didn't know that. Right? We're on this. We have the same thing. I remember before I lost my sense of smell, my go-to was a poppy seed bagel.
Okay.
I can't eat it. It tastes like I'm eating asphalt. Like I'm trying to lick sand or sandpaper.
Yeah, you have to go like based off more of texture when you lose your sense of taste and smell, as opposed to like what things taste like. Because like for me, I can't eat something like jelly because the texture I can't taste it, but the texture of it makes me want to throw up.
Oh
so
God, it's just glue. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Since there's no taste to it for me, if there's not a good texture, I want to throw up. It's why I can't eat like most fish, because it's like this really mushy texture to me. But like something like catfish, where it's more dense, I can actually stomach.
Anything that has like flanks, you know, like you can get like a tuna steak, right?
Yeah.
Like, but not like tuna. Ugh, God, I've had the texture thing my whole life, but like losing my sense of smell like reshuffled everything for me.
Yeah, it's like I remember used to like loving the I get like the treat Star Crunches. I don't know if you remember those. But now that I like can't taste some stuff, that is just no. Those are the grossest things I've ever put in my mouth. Like we got some at my work's vending machine recently, and I was just like, oh, I remember loving these as a kid. Let me try one. And then I just like took a bite and I just went, bleh, bleh. Just like threw it in the trash immediately. I just like, no, that was disgusting.
I was trying to explain to somebody what it was like, right? What some of this stuff was like. Because like, yeah, you can have a cold and you can't taste anything, right? But it doesn't taste like you can't taste anything. It tastes different, right? I remember, for whatever reason, whenever I got sick as a kid, they like force fed me Tang.
Oh God!
And I grew to hate it. Okay. I also ate a lot of steak fries. That was like, oh, you're sick, you're not feeling well. We'll go get them steak fries. So they would bring back like frozen steak fries, like Ore-Ida. And I remember, like it's like, oh, it just tastes different, right? It doesn't. It's not the same thing since you lose your smell, because I can still taste some stuff. And so I was like, okay, for something I can't taste, it doesn't taste different. I said it's the equivalent of like running it along the underside of your hand. So like sesame seeds, right? Run sesame seed bagel across the palm of your hand. That's what it's like on your tongue without taste.
That's an interesting way to go about explaining that to people, because I have that same issue too, where I can't really explain to people who have their senses fully intact what it's like.
Yeah. Can we agree, though, that if you had to lose one, smell is the one to lose?
Oh, yeah.
100%. It's the invisible sense.
Like, if someone fucking hotboxes my car, like, just lets one rip, and it's just like, cool, I don't have to deal with that, you do.
I definitely, I can't smell most of the time, like, obviously. I can't smell, period. Sometimes I know something, like there's a change in the air.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did like a cold front come in? Like I can tell, like, and I remember one time I had a girl in my car. This was years ago. Close to after it happened, and I think she let out a dirty bomb. And I was like, what was that? And I genuinely didn't know. I wasn't remarking on the idea that like she couldn't fart in my car. Like I was surprised that she was that comfortable. Right? Yeah. That's like, it's like a weird backhanded compliment. It's like, I feel comfortable enough like cutting one in this car. Right? I'm like this dude I'm on like my third date with.
Either that or she just really didn't like you. It's like those are your two options, right? It's like she was either comfortable enough around you to let one loose, or she's just like, fuck this guy.
Fuck this dude. We waited too long to get in the restaurant. Yeah. No, that was the worst.
But it's funny, like I used to be in a band with a good friend of mine, and we were recording a demo for one of our songs, and we're in his room, and I'm just practicing, in between takes, and all of a sudden he just gets up and bolts out of the room. Like, he didn't look at his phone. He didn't he just up and left, and I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? Where did he go? Like, in a hurry, like, poof.
Right.
And I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? I'm like, you didn't go to the bathroom because the bathroom's across the hall. So after a couple minutes, I'm just like, he's still not back. So I went to find him. He just looks at me, he goes, how were you sitting in there? And I'm just like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, I let one go. Just like, you gassed yourself out of your own room before I even noticed.
I'm like, what the hell was that, right?
Yeah. I'm just like, what the fuck? He's just like, how did you not know? I'm like, dude, I could not smell it. I can't smell anything. So it has its advantages.
It does have its advantages.
But it's also annoying, right? Because I've had girlfriends throughout my lifetime who are just like, let's go. Like, we're walking through the mall. It's like, let's go into the candle store. It's like, all right, fine. And just every 3 seconds, I'm having a candle shoved into my face, and it's just like, what do you want from me? I can't smell it. Like,
you know what I do? Because I used to do that, where I'm like, I can't smell, and I'd get annoyed. Now, what I do is I lean in and I give it like a big huff, like. And then I'm like, I can't smell. You know that, right? Like, they're waiting for my opinion. They're waiting for my opinion, and I'm like,
you just mull it over. You're just like, huh?
Yeah, I can't smell.
Yeah, you know I can't smell, right?
Yeah. Well, the only thing, and I don't know if you have this, so I cannot smell gas, like natural gas, the egg smell.
Yeah.
But I remember the gas company sent out a scratch and sniff, and my mom got it, and I was over visiting her, and she's like, here, do you know what gas smells like? I'm like, I can't smell. She's like scratching the thing and letting me sniff it. So I was like, I can't smell. And she was kind of getting annoyed, and I'm like, what do you not understand? I cannot smell. I am your child. Do you not know that I cannot smell? So she looks at me, and she was annoyed, and she goes, pinch your nose, open your mouth, and breathe in. And I was like, what? She's like, pinch your nose, open your mouth, breathe in. And I did, and I could fucking taste it.
Ew.
And I had that smell. I had that taste in my mouth for like 2 hours.
That's wondrous.
So I can't smell gas, but if I ever walk in a room and I'm not sure, I'm opening my mouth and breathing in.
It's like my mom was always just like, don't you want to get some kind of surgery done to fix that? And I'm like, no, why would I? I'm perfectly fine the way I am, thank you.
There you go. Mine was beat out of me. I did at one point have a sense of smell. I got my head hit too many times.
Yeah, mine went away. Like, I can still smell some things. It's not completely gone, but it's mostly gone. But it's just been an overtime kind of a thing.
I just passed 7 years recently. A couple weeks ago.
I think mine's over 10.
Yeah. I posted it in my Discord. The screenshot.
Oh, wow.
The taste came back. At the time, I wrote, this was December 13, 2014. I wrote, I can now say that smell is the most overrated of the senses. Food is really gross without taste or smell. I'm like, yeah, 100%. Right? It's just so funny. I had that moment in my life where I'm like, oh, yes. And then 7 years later, I'm like, I still think this. We were talking about passing gas earlier. So I'll tell this story. This other girl I worked with, she worked for me. She was in my department, and I was her manager. And very lovely person. One of the nicest people I ever worked with. Just so cheerful all the time. Very nice. And she had a dog, and her voice was kind of high, but she always had a sing-songy voice. Hi! Just always happy. Always cheerful.
Be in a Kingdom Hearts game.
She should be in a Disney movie. She's singing to the animals, right?
Got it.
And she one day, me and so my other coworker, very serious. She's a very nice person. She's like more serious. She's very reserved and like very matter of fact. So we're working, and all of a sudden, the I'll call her M. Okay, I don't want to dox her or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And M runs out of the room, and we were like, "Huh, okay." This is the sing-songy lady. So we're like, okay. So, and then the next day, she did it like twice. She ran, kind of not, just kept going out of the room. And we're like, what are you?
What's
so
happening?
Finally, I left, and she told the other person, my colleague, she told her what she was doing. She said she doesn't like to fart in her pants.
What?
So she's like, I don't like to fart in my pants, so I always run to the bathroom. So every time that she had to let one go, this is the most blue thing we've ever talked about on the podcast. Half the people have tuned out. But every time that she had to like do it, she would go to the bathroom and just like go in there and do it in there. And like I was like, so every time that you do, she's like, yes, I only ever do it in the bathroom too. So
what?
there was a blizzard. This is a real story. There was a blizzard, and the power knocked out her power, and her bathrooms are pump up to a well or something. So basically, the power going out knocked out her water, and she had to go to the bathroom to do her thing.
Mm-hmm.
So she, in her own words, drove her car in a blizzard 3 miles down the road to her uncle's house. It was 10 minutes. Broke into her uncle's house so that she could go in the bathroom, take care of business, just, let it go, and then got back in the car and drove home.
That's dedication to your idiosyncrasies, man.
That requires therapy.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's touch.
That one, that's the sock full of nickels in her life. Right? Not to, of course, never to make light of mental illness and get help. But yes, that was the moment in her life that I'm like, okay.
I would have sought help after this one.
to drive in a blizzard. Like, I was unsure that the rule was that absolute, right? Like, surely it's not an absolute truth in your life that you will not pass gas unless you are contained in a single occupancy bathroom. And she was like, oh, you bet it's an absolute truth in my life. I've never, like, never, like, and then I'm like, there's surely, like, I, like, hit her with 20 questions, like, well, what if you were here? She's like, I held it. I'm like,
oh my God.
Like, I was like, oh my God. Now, going to the bathroom, totally understand. I only go to the bathroom in my house unless I'm on vacation. Right? Like, I'm that kind of person. You have comfortable zones. I worked at my job for 4 years before I felt comfortable enough. I live so close to my job, I would drive home on lunch.
Oh, wow.
See? Now that's my nickel sock.
Yeah, that is, but like that, I can understand that one because it's just kind of like a mental thing and a comfortability thing. I'm always worried in like public restrooms that someone's just gonna like fucking start throwing shit at me like it's high school again. Like, you ever get those dickheads in high school that would just like throw wet paper towels over the stalls just because you were trying to use the bathroom?
I didn't go to the bathroom at my high school because there were kids that would hang out in there and be like, "Well, you're really stinking it up in there, huh?" I'm like, bro, it's not like I want to be in here going. You know?
Petulant teenage bullshit, my favorite.
Like, I know that English 101 is so boring that it's more interesting to hang out in a bathroom that smells like literal shit. But come on, like, can we not? Everybody poops.
I also hate speaking of school, I hate the fact that in high school, like high school, middle school, English is called English. You're not teaching me English. You're teaching me English literature. Let's name this correctly and make it so that I don't have to learn this, because like you're not teaching me a speaking skill. You're having me read a book and write a book report on it. It is
like, one of those weird things, right? It's like, yeah, I guess it's kind of a bit of a misnomer, right?
Yeah. It shouldn't be mandatory that I have to know all of these like old books that were written a long time ago and know how to write a book report on them. It's like, okay, cool. My interests are nowhere near this. Let me pick my courses so I don't have to take this stupid English class in quotations.
You know, I would have agreed with you yesterday. But today I read a report that 80% of students in high school are 2 grade levels below where they're supposed to be in reading comprehension, and 12% are as low as 5 grade levels. So a senior in high school potentially is reading at a 7th grade level. Now, I don't think you have a problem with reading comprehension, but I think that we have to force kids to read Hamlet to fuck around and find out.
Well, it's not. It's not even Hamlet. It should be like the thing I loved about doing like English class in like elementary school is you got to pick the book. It wasn't all right. Let's read Romeo and Juliet. I don't care. I don't want to read Romeo and Juliet. Like it's like let me find a book that's interesting to me. Like if it wouldn't have been for being able to pick the book that I read in English class in 6th grade, I would have never read the fantastic book Bud Not Buddy. Like that book is fantastic, and if I wouldn't have got to pick that book, I would have never read it.
I'm gonna pivot into a bad book that I read. But
oh yes.
Like I think there's so much wrong with the way that we teach people. We teach kids. Now, I do not have the patience to be an educator, as is well documented in my entire life. But would it not have been a better test to let everyone pick a Shakespearean play to read on their own? Right? Like, would that, or break, like, you're already going to make me go into groups of 5. Why don't you just make it so, okay, you guys are reading Macbeth. This is Team Macbeth. Okay, everyone that wants to read Macbeth, you go over here. Anyone that wants to read Romeo and Juliet, go over here. Anyone that wants to read Hamlet, go over here. No, it's like we had to read, like, we didn't get to read, like, Hamlet. We got Antigone. And I'm like, oh no, so interesting. Like, we read Julius Caesar, right? And it's like, cool. But it's like, man, the other class got to read fucking Macbeth. It's like the way more interesting
Macbeth
stuff.
Or Hamlet.
Yeah, they're really good. Like, Hamlet is probably, I mean, it is said to be the greatest thing ever written. But, you know. So I'll tell you that in 9th grade, this is the perfect example of the thing that I just laid out for you. Okay? So, in 9th grade, it was the last book of the year, and it was tied to our final. And so my teacher did a bunch of really interesting stuff to kind of make things interesting, and he's a very innovative person. Looking back on it, that class was very original and creative. So, one of the things that happened was that for the end project, we got to pick our own book of the list of books. So, like I said, right? Let us pick the book. However, he always liked to throw in kind of added value, right? And so what he did was, if you read the regular book, you had to write a report on the book, and you had to do an oral presentation about the book.
Oh, I hate those.
But you had to do it from a topic that was unique to you. So you might get something and you might be like, fuck that, right? But it was the easiest book on the list. It was the shortest book on the list. It was the easiest book on the list. It would take you no time to read this book. So, read the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, less work up front, more work on the back end. There was one book, there were 2 copies of it. And so if you chose the second book, you didn't have, sorry, there was a couple copies of it. If you chose the second book, you didn't have to do the oral report, you had to write a book report, right? If you chose one of the top books, there were 2 to pick from, they were both different books. If you chose one of the top books, you did not have to write a book report. You did not have to write an oral report. You didn't have to do an oral presentation. You just had to write a 4-paragraph synopsis of the book.
Okay.
Okay? And you had to talk with the teacher about the book. So one-on-one. And
interesting.
You would get automatically, if you read the hardest book, you would get no worse than an 85. But the book is hard. Okay?
I like that, though.
Easy book, medium book, or the hardest books. Okay. The easiest book was Animal Farm. So, not terribly difficult, right? It's like as a sixth grader, that book is a little hard. But once you learn what communism is, Animal Farm is pretty much written on its sleeve what everything is. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard. The symbolism is so not really symbols and more like someone shouting at you with a bullhorn, right? For 9th graders in this class, Animal Farm was not going to be that difficult, okay? I don't remember what the middle book was. I think it might have been Fahrenheit 451 or something.
Okay.
And then the 2 books at the end. There was Dune.
Ooh.
And Great Expectations. Which is a Dickens
I'm
book.
Less excited about that one. More excited about Dune.
I reached for Dune, which was the biggest book I'd ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It was fucking small and fat. It didn't even fit in our string bags.
Yep.
And this other kid grabbed it.
Oh, bitch.
And so there was only 2 books. So I got the other one. I got Great Expectations. Fuck that fucking book!
I do not like Great Expectations.
Do you know that? Do you know the book?
Yeah, I know the book.
Oh my god! Oh.
I think I've also read it. Let me. It's been a while though.
So, okay. Great Expectations is this story about this dude Pip. Okay. And there's a lot that happens. Basically, it's you have an anonymous benefactor, and just and there's an old spinster, and she's in her wedding dress. She walks around in her wedding dress with the wedding cake on the fucking table, right? Old gas cake and everything. It's just oh my god, it was so dry. It was so dense. The first time I ever got a migraine. Now I was going on vacation for 2 weeks. With my family. I was I'll read this on the plane. Because it was also very thin. I opened it up and the font was so small. And I tried to read it on the plane. I got fucking sick. I had a migraine the first 2 days I was in Florida.
Mistakes were made, son.
Fuck that book, dude. I sat down to talk with him about it at the end. He's like, so what'd you learn? I said, never pick Dickens ever again. He laughed. Never pick Dickens, dude. It's so... Everyone's like, oh, Charles Dickens. Oh, Christmas Carol. I watched the Muppets Christmas Carol. Christmas Carol. It's no, not Christmas Carol. Never Christmas Carol. This is awful.
Things of Nightmares. That's what this is.
Yeah. They're ooh, Gonzo's the narrator. Fuck your narrator.
Yeah, you got bullied so hard, dude. You almost got to read Dune. Did you ever go and read Dune afterwards, though?
No, I was so mad. I just have a permanent association now.
You see Dune and all you see is Great Expectations and you just get mad.
Yeah. I didn't see the movie. I'm not gonna go see them. I'm never gonna watch that movie.
Oh, you should though.
No, never. It's got fucking Aquaman in it. And Drax.
If you want, you can watch the old one then.
I'm never watching the old one. I'm never watching it. I'm never reading it. I'm never watching it. I read a synopsis of it. And I was like, I'm never, ever going to touch this book. Ever. It's so cool. There's so much dense lore. It's just, you got screwed, dude. Screwed hard. Oh, God, it was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Like, it's so dense. Like, we were talking about the burger on the table being dense, like a baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like that book was a baby. It was so dense. It just had so much weight to it. It was awful. Like, it is probably the worst thing I ever read. And I'm an avid reader. Like, that book didn't deter me from reading, right? I just
made you hate Dickens.
Yeah. Well, you know what it did do, actually? I'll say this. It made me hate fiction.
Oh, interesting.
It made me hate the flowery, say 100 words to describe 10 seconds thing. I hated it. I love nonfiction. It actually pushed me so far away from fiction that I fell in love with journalism. That's how defining of a moment this was in my life. I joined the newspaper. I became so much more interested in real life. I read like autobiographies. I would just read the newspaper. I'm like, fuck, I'm never going back. Ever. So all the fiction that I did.
That's a cool thing, though.
It's interesting. I stopped reading fiction recreationally. And so everything that I've ever read, like the great high fantasy, like Lord of the Rings and whatever, and like Chronicles of Narnia, I read before I was in high school.
Okay.
So because that's like that's the line of demarcation. You know, it's like if you were to force me to pick like my favorite fiction novel, it's like Gatsby, right? I guess. I just love F. Scott Fitzgerald. But like I'm not really into the I mean, like, I love Lord of the Rings with all my heart, but it's like
It's also, for whatever reason, getting a reboot.
Yeah. Did you ever read Chronicles of Narnia?
I never did. I watched the first movie, but
it's all Jesus. Cece was the one that told me that. I'm like, what do you mean it's all Jesus? He goes, bro, it's all Jesus.
It's a lot of metaphors for Jesus, yeah. From what I've heard. But it didn't resonate with me. After school, I used to read a lot in school because I needed something to do. But like once I got out of school and started getting more into music, I started to read less and less. I want to change that though. I do want to read more. It's just more like not having the time. So maybe I should do like audiobooks more.
Yeah, I love real special interest stories. Like, let's write a book about one thing. And we're going to talk about that thing. Maybe it's a period of time, right? Maybe it's a group of people, right? I just got a book. It's called The Queens of Animation, I believe.
Ooh.
And it is about... Hang on. I mean, let me get the author really quick. Yeah, The Queens of Animation by Natalya Holt. Wait a minute.
Is this okay? This is the untold story of the women who transformed the world of Disney and made cinematic history.
Yes. So
that sounds like a good read,
right? And I love these. Like, okay, this it's a book about this. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat that book up. I also, unfortunately, love sports, which is...
Unfortunately!
I love the drama of a sporting event. And, like, you know, I know that admitting that I like sports on the internet is a death sentence, right? Because now everyone's just gonna be like, "Oh, I love sports ball! I got a touchdown at the World Series!" Just like,
It's okay.
all right,
I'm only a fan of the stick puck. I like me some
man,
hockey. And that's
you
about
like
it.
you some hockey? There you go. You
Mhm.
got a team?
Well, I mean, I'm from St. Louis, so I got to go for the Blues,
The Blues?
man.
I have a hockey puck from a Blues game.
Nice.
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
a cool souvenir.
they're my boys, and we finally got a cup a couple years ago, and we've sucked since, so we can turn it around. But
Hey,
like I'm
listen.
one of those people. It's like I kind of like vaguely pay attention during the regular season, and then like I'll actually watch like World Series if we're there. But like I don't have the time to sit there like once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week and watch a 3-hour hockey game because I'm watching a bunch of other things. Like I'm trying to keep up to date with Critical Role right now, and it's like trying to watch a whole bunch of other YouTube stuff because a lot of what I watch comes from YouTube.
Interesting. Well, like if you had to like define it, what percentage of your content that you absorb is from like Twitch or YouTube?
From Twitch and YouTube, 99% easily.
99%.
Mm-hmm. I do not own a TV, and I do not have cable. So the only time I ever like watch anything else is if there's a hockey game on, and I can watch it through like the NHL website.
Mm-hmm. I like so I do sports. I have the DirecTV for the Sunday ticket. I watch football on Sundays. It is it is probably the closest thing to like, you know, when you're a kid and you wake up and there's that like excitement of having like a Saturday, and there's like,
that was the best ringtone.
We'll leave it in.
That like scared me because I thought you were gonna like play a sports ball clip.
No.
And it's just like, a phone call is here.
How can we not leave that in now, right? How can we cut that out? Okay. So God, I forgot what I was gonna say. It was like that moment of like jubilation that you have. It's like, oh, I don't have to go anywhere today as a kid.
Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah, and you have your whole day in front of you. There's no errands. You don't have to clean anything. It's like, oh, my whole Saturday is in front of me, right? It's just like, what excitement is gonna happen? That's the closest that I can get back to that moment is watching the Patriots play on Sunday. That is like the closest I get to like just like happy in living in the moment. You know, I think it's something that's underrated as you get to be an adult. It's like you don't really ever experience the moment you're in. You know, it's like, all right, I'm at work, and then I gotta go home, and then I gotta feed the dog, and then I gotta take the cat out, and then I gotta go to the store, and then I gotta take the garbage out. You know, it's just like you're never in the moment you're in. You're always in the next thing that you have to do.
Yeah, what do I want to do next? What's going on?
Yeah, or like, oh, I got this thing I got to do next week. It's like, well, you're not in next week right now, and I'm like putting this problem forward, knowing full well that I do the same thing. But it's like, I got a podcast to record next week. It's just like, no, think about the podcast you're recording right now, you know, and try and be like in the moment right now, enjoy the space that you're in. And when I'm watching football or base with the Yankees, right? That is like the closest that I get to that feeling of like, I'm just in this moment, happy. I don't care what happens after this game. I got to have this time watching the game.
I can understand that feeling. That's kind of what ever since I found it, that's kind of what Critical Role has done for me. It's just kind of like, you know, it helps that Matt Mercer is a fantastic storyteller, but it's just nice to just be able to chill and just like disassociate from my life for a couple hours.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I've done everything I need to do in my life to get me to this point where I can watch this 3-hour video.
Exactly. It's just like, yes. Just chill and watch a TPK.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting. You know, I was gonna say I also watch a lot of I always watch a show. I'm always watching a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always watching like a movie, right? If I'm like playing a game, it's like I'll just have something up on the other tab. I know some people do that with podcasts, but I'm on like my 5th or 6th time rewatching all the Marvel movies right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then next, before that I was watching The Sopranos, and before that I was watching The West Wing. Before that,
Okay.
I was rewatching, Deadwood or whatever.
Oh, okay. Question for you, because I have never seen Deadwood.
Oh, really?
Is it good?
Okay. Two disclaimers before I give you my answer. One, I am a huge fan of Westerns. So it was immediately a must-watch for me at some point in my life. Two, it is a hard show to listen to but not watch. So I love it. The reason I say it's a hard show to listen to but not watch is because the language is hard to understand at first. Because
old Western-y.
Well, it's in a way, it's not like the John Wayne way of a Western where he's speaking in plain English there, Pilgrim, right? It's not like that. It's not the pattern. It's not the tone that you're used to, right? Chris Pratt is in the Magnificent Seven. He's doing Star-Lord with a gun, right? So it's like, I might have fucked my life up worse than hammered shit, but even I know that I got a working gold claim, a pocket full of pussy, and just like all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. All right. What did he say? Like, at first, it's hard, right? Like, there's this whole scene. I think the episode is called Reconnoitre the Ridges, right? Do you know what reconnoitre means? Like, at first glance, it's like, what? So it's like, why don't you help the dude to reconnoitre over the ridges? It's like, hey, but I can't be doing no reconnoitring. I've got to be tending. It's like, no, you can't be tendering. You got to be, you ought to reconnoitre. And then it's like, I think David Milch is the guy who created it. And the actors on the show kind of refer to it as like Milchian. It's just like this way he like puts everything together. But the way that the language comes together is like classically educated men in the classics, trained in Latin, taught in Latin, like reading like Greek and Roman literature in school, and then they come west, and the people in the show, this is a gold claim, right? It's a gold town. They're not improving the land. They're literally raping the earth. They're just ripping gold from the earth and destroying everything. And they're not doing anything of productivity. So it's the like backdrop of society of the time and education meeting the harsh like brutality and savageness of like white man's gold claim. Right? So it's just like really hard language, like really hard like racial slurs, really hard swearing, backdrop by like, oh, this person's speaking in verse.
Okay. Like the main reason I ask is because Timothy Oliphant's in it, and he is fucking fantastic.
He is fucking fantastic in that show.
And he was part of like one of the best quote unquote modern shows with a Western feel in it, Justified.
I have not seen Justified.
Watch it. It is fucking fantastic. It is great.
I'm doing it. On your recommendation.
Yep.
And you should watch Deadwood.
I will. I remember watching Justified when it came out. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. I really like Timothy Oliphant. He's a good actor. And I'm just watching the show. I'm just like, this is insane. This is so good. Nothing happens that I would have expected. And like it makes me like I need to rewatch it again because it's been so long. But from what I remember, it was incredibly good, and it was a good time. And I can't remember the other actor's name. 1 second.
And Justified.
Yeah, the antagonist. I just can't remember his name because he's been in a bunch of other things. Walton Goggins.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah, he said he did not want to do this show because like the antagonist is kind of a more like backwoods kind of a guy. But he said he would only do it if he could make this character like be from like that kind of backwoods kind of redneck area, but be like very intellectual and like just have a higher intelligence than you would expect. And God fucking damn if that does not make it great.
Yeah. I like that guy a lot. And I think one of the things that I like about that guy is that, and this is something that really resonates with me, like an actor like Paul Dano. It's like, you can make me fucking hate you. Like,
yeah.
Just like, I hate you so much. Paul Dano in 12 Years a Slave. I'm like, everyone in here is awful, right? Everyone in here is awful. There's no redeemable characters. Like, even the nice slave owner is a piece of shit. But, like,
yeah.
Oh, no. Like, Paul Dano, he's just awful. I hate you. I hate you and your little weak chin. I want to punch you in the face. I wish that this guy wasn't a slave so he could punch you in the face. I want to punch you in the face. Let me get over here, Paul Dano. That's how I feel. That's how upset I get.
You want to meet him just so you could be like, dude, I hate you so much and I love you for it.
Yeah, like, it's just like, oh, it's just like so much. It's just like, I love people that can elicit a response from me. That's something that I don't know that will I don't know that it translates well in the current, like, Marvel universe. Right?
No.
Like, and I'm going to watch every Marvel movie that they make. I'm not ashamed of it. Like, people are now in the point of the curve of popularity where it's more popular to hate on them and to say everything that's wrong with them than to actually just enjoy the fact that we have comic book movies and that eventually this will not be a forever thing, that we will not have them in the future, right? It's an arc that literally every genre, it happens. This is the superhero genre. But Thanos was so intimidating and scary, and he can just punch Tony Stark in the face, and Tony Stark gets knocked out for a second. What? He overpowered Captain America? What?
He made the Hulk not want to come out?
Yeah, he beat the Hulk. He fought Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, the three best we got, at one time.
Yep.
Right? He fought them all at once. The anxiety between Infinity War and Endgame, not knowing what was going to happen, right? Not knowing, because of course, everyone's going to get brought back. Yeah, but how? That, like, feeling of dread, almost. Like, just like, this guy is so powerful. What are you going to do? And, like, just like, oh god, there's nothing you can do. Hide, run. You know,
what can thou do?
But die.
I think the only issue that I've had with the Marvel movies, and it's not even a knock on them because like it's really how it should have been done, is that because the MCU became a thing, everyone and their dog wants to have their own cinematic universe now.
Yeah, that's the worst part, because none of them are doing it the way that Kevin Feige and Marvel put it together.
And you don't even need to have it for every series of films. Not everything needs to be in the same universe. You can have things be in a different universe, but since Marvel was successful with it, and they're still continuing to be successful with it, even though I personally am burnt out on superhero films, like everyone and their dog wants to do their own cinematic universe. It's just like, dude, I don't want to have to watch for everything that I like. I have to watch 19 different films to then understand the big film that you're going to make for it. It's just like, can we just not do that for everything?
Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying. I don't like it for DC. I don't like it. But, you know, I was thinking about it like this. In how Eternals... I didn't like the Eternals movie. I talked about it on another podcast. I'm sure
I haven't
it'll come
watched
up.
it.
I didn't like it. And it's not because I loved all the inclusivity stuff. I love that there's a deaf superhero. I think that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, none of that stuff fucking puts me off, and I am so careful when I talk about that movie, because I'm like, the people that say they don't like it are talking about the racial stuff, and they're talking about the gay kiss, and they're talking about all this stuff. I like all that stuff, right? I'm tired of seeing white dudes. I've seen a lot of white dudes. Show me some other people, right?
Yeah,
Get
it's
some
like
other creator voices in there, right?
It's like Jordan Peele said he would never cast a white guy as a lead in any of his movies because that movie's already been made.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like I 100% agree with you, dude, and I respect your choice. Continue forward because you make good movies.
Exactly. Like, do something new. It doesn't matter necessarily if, like, oh, maybe there's a white actor that would have worked better in that role. Yeah, but that's not the movie he's trying to make.
Yeah.
Let him make this other movie and then enjoy it because it's going to be fun. So
he wants to uplift other voices outside of the ones that have been in cinema for hundreds of years.
Yeah. I'm not a big kung fu movie person. I'm just not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. My dad was into him. I never got into him. But like Shang-Chi, everyone's like, it's a shit kung fu movie. I'm like, yeah, but it's a cool movie. It's got all these new interesting areas and characters, and there's stuff going on, and it's lighthearted, and it's colorful, and the visuals are pretty. You know, like, why is everything
very pretty, that's for sure?
Dude, did you see Shang-Chi?
I have not. No, like I said, I'm burnt out on like the
no. Yeah,
movies,
but it's very
like,
pretty.
I haven't watched.
It's super pretty.
But from what I saw from the trailers, it looked very colorful. It looked very, like, things were very vibrant. And it looked cool, but I'm just like, do I really want to watch another superhero movie?
Like, I'm tired of...
I do love me some kung fu movies. I love me some Jackie Chan movies. I love Donnie Yen, Sammo Hung. I'm like, I love all that kind of stuff.
So I think it's a below average kung fu movie from everything that people that really love kung fu movies have told me. Like, it's below average, but I'm like, it just breathes new life into the Marvel universe.
Yeah, which was the point.
Yeah, like,
it wasn't supposed to be like old Eastern action films.
Yeah, like, it is a compromise to make and to add new voices, right? Like, I just want new voices. I just want to hear from other people. I'm tired of hearing the same thing. The Avengers, as groundbreaking as it was a bunch of white dudes and Black Widow, right? And then it's like, okay, we're adding in new generations. You're adding in different values, and you just get to layer this stuff in casually. That's what I really like about it, because there's no way that an Eternals movie was going to get made before the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And if it did, you couldn't have told it the way that they told it. Not that anyone would want them to, because it was awful. But, like, you don't get Spider-Man the way that you get Spider-Man, but you get campy Spider-Man. You know? You get
Bully Maguire again.
You get Bully Maguire. You get, like, Fantastic Four with the fucking Chris Evans Human Torch.
No version of the Fantastic Four movies have been good.
It would break my heart into a billion pieces if Chris Evans didn't live his life every day trying to be Captain America.
Oh my god. Like it like, just what a turnaround, right? He went from being fantastic, like he went from being the Human Torch, which, like, he was the only reason I liked that movie, but
you didn't like Ben Grimm? You didn't like The Thing?
Okay, their interactions were like the best parts of the movie between the Human Torch and The Thing. Like, so super great. But it's like it's one of those movies that it's, it's bad, but you love it anyway. But, like, to think that he went from that to fucking Captain America, and it's just like, dude, yeah, no, it's like Chris Evans with Captain America is like Hugh Jackman with Wolverine. There is no other.
Yeah, like that, and this like in Wolverine is an attitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's body language, it's presence, it's something that like it's like that like I don't even want to really be in this room, right? Why am I even here?
I'm very uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, it's like all right, as soon as it's like this like microaggression, like you really want me to unleash my claws, bub, right? So much so that like it's almost like the movies influence the comics, right? A little bit. Yeah. But then you have Captain America, who's like, oh god, this is everything that I want in a person with values, and he's uncorruptible. Mm-hmm. Even when he's a bad, quote unquote, a criminal on the run, right? Right? Even when he's a United States criminal and he's got the beard, he's still like the pinnacle of like he's just perfect in every way. It's just it's so like, oh man, I'd be so disappointed if Chris Evans ever turned out to be a scumbag.
Yeah, which I mean, we've already gotten kind of with Crispy Rat.
With Crispy Rat?
Chris Pratt.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I just love how people still try and come to his defense. It's like, yes, I understand you like him as Star-Lord. He did a fantastic job. That doesn't absolve him of the people he surrounds himself with outside of the MCU.
Yeah. You know, someone, I don't remember who it was, but it was like, can you separate people from their art? It's like, when I watch these movies, for the most part, like the MCU movies, you really think about some of the performances.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't think of Josh Brolin when I see Thanos. To me, Thanos is some dude with a skin condition walking around LA. Right? Like, he's real. You know? Like I don't think of Vin Diesel when I think of Groot. So it's like, I always
forget that Vin Diesel is Groot. I always forget.
He doesn't mocap either. He just does the voice.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Him and Bradley Cooper have never set foot on the set. So, like, for me, I'm like, yeah, you know, it's interesting. Like, I don't associate their performances with them as people. So, but for example, Nick Cage in Ghost Rider, he's just doing Nick Cage.
He's playing himself, just like turned up a little bit more.
And in those instances, if Nick Cage were a piece of shit, like, yeah, I'd have a fucking hard time separating it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is so much escapism in the genre. You know, it's like, I don't even notice sometimes. Like, I don't remember that he's the fat dude in Parks and Rec.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I didn't even really like that show all that much.
Oh, I hate that show. But, you know, I know it's a popular show, so
Yeah. Like, I'll get roasted on the internet because I don't like Parks and Rec and because I don't think The Office is funny.
I can't watch The Office.
She's like, oh boy, we're both going to get lambasted by the internet because we don't like The Office.
Yeah, right. I tried. Honestly, you know what it is? I can't do the cringe humor.
Yeah.
I can't do cringe humor.
Maybe like 20 years ago I would have liked it, but no.
The uncomfortable silence makes me anxious.
Someone say something, please.
Yeah, or like the idea of like, oh, someone's talking very confidently, like they know the answer, but the audience knows the answer and it's not that. You know, It's like, oh, and I love my wife, and my wife loves me, and she would never cheat on me. And in the background, his wife is cheating on him, like in real time, and we're watching this unfold. It's like that is a level of uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, like I think the biggest issue I have with TV, and not all shows do this, obviously, but it's like I hate it when shows purposefully have a cast of characters that make it impossible for you to like them.
Yeah. There was, I had that problem with Mad Men for a long time. You know? Like, none of the characters felt likable.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like
and
you can
then
have
they
you
grew
can
on
have a
me.
show. You can have a show that is nothing but dudes who are like bad, it's like a villain show. But
Mhm.
even in a villain show, you're still gonna find that one villain that's like, I like that guy.
Yeah.
He's funny. I like that one.
Like,
But like when all of them are just like, dude, no, just stop, please.
mm.
It's like you got What We
Yeah,
Do in the Shadows.
I
Like
can't
where it's
watch
just
that show.
but it's just a bunch of vampires. It's just like, oh, they're bad. It's just like you're gonna find one you like most likely, but that's definitely not a show for everyone.
Like Negan, right? It's the Negan problem where like
Yeah,
everyone loves Negan, and like you can't get rid of him, even though he's the worst person on the show, like morale wise, because everyone loves him.
oh, not at the end though. He gets better at the end.
Yeah, he has a fucking character. He has a fucking character change. Oh yeah, he only murdered like thousands of like. Oh, by the way, humans are going extinct, and he killed thousands of them, which is like genocide.
It's funny because I was actually talking about this exact thing with my grandma on Christmas because she loves The Walking Dead. And I was just like, yeah, I kind of fell out of it because it just kind of felt like they were just keeping people around because they were the fan favorites. Like Daryl is not in the graphic novel.
No, he doesn't exist.
He does, but they kept him around because the fans liked him. And I'm just like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Think about who the actor is.
Yeah. So I read the graphic novel, and one of the things that stands out for me the most is that it was so fun because anybody could die at any time. Nobody was safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then as it went on, you were like, and it was true in the show. That's why the show caught fire, because nobody was safe. They could introduce a character in the one episode and make the whole episode about him, and it's just like, oh, nope, Rick died. Or not Rick, but like, oh, we killed this other guy.
I think that stopped around the end of season 2, though, is when they started realizing, oh, these characters are too important to kill yet.
When they were in the prison, and like, Carol's having a conversation with one of the prisoners, and he gets his fucking head blown off, I was like, oh. And then, like, it started where did so-and-so go? Oh, he's over there with a gun to his head. Like, that happened a lot.
Yeah.
You know? I felt like I was surprised. Like, I was like, they're not going to kill so-and-so. You know? Like, the surprise of it all.
It's also weird how long Carol survived.
Is she dead now?
I don't know, but, like, even even if she's still alive, it's just like, how did she, of all people, make it this far?
Yeah, she's this old lady who, like, awokened her savage side.
Yeah, and, like, it's actually kind of funny because this was another thing that I talked about with my grandma, is that I think that actually Rick has one of the worst character arcs in the show, and Carol actually somehow has the best.
Yeah, well, Rick he constantly goes back and forth from crazy to not crazy.
Yeah, I'm just like, and that's the exact thing that I said. I'm just like, how many times can you lose your shit before you just completely lose it? Like, it's just like, Rick's like, I'm crazy. Oh, now I'm fine now. How's everyone's like, Negan, please help me. I'm insane. It's like.
Also, the biggest cowardly thing that they ever did was not kill Rick. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen The Walking Dead, this was years ago. But when they, like, pulled punches on killing Rick, I'm like, just kill him.
Yep.
You let him go out in spectacular fashion. Like, no one would have been like, oh, wow, he died for nothing. No, he died for something. You know, he died for something very important, as a matter of fact.
And he fucking deserved to die by the end of things.
Oh, my God. His soul was not unbloody, you know?
No, but, like, you couldn't really blame him. It's like he finally kind of realized at a certain point, it's just like, if we're going to survive, I got to do some bad shit. And if someone's going to do the bad shit, might as well be me.
Yeah, I'm going to eat this dude's neck.
It's like, sometimes you got to make those sacrifices. And I think, in the end, it's where, like, Rick kind of realized, it's like, oh, yeah, Negan was kind of right.
Negan. Coral. Negan was kind of right.
Coral.
When he's beaten to a pulp and they're going down the railroad track with Carl and him, and Carl's sick of his shit, he's like, Coral, where's Coral? It's like, oh god, dude. Fucking dude.
And then the meme we got, it was like where it's like Rick telling a bad dad joke and Carl just like looking at the floor, just like smoking his cup. Like that meme format when that happened was so good. Oh my god. Oh. Back when TV used to be good with Breaking Bad and Walking Dead, like seasons 1 through 4.
I like Better Call Saul, which is on the air.
I've heard that's good, but I never started it.
Yeah, you should. That's a good one. All right. Well, we're coming up on time. Was there anything else you wanted to say before we wrapped up?
No, not a whole lot. There is, in fact, now some questions in here, by the way.
Oh, there's questions in there?
Yeah.
No, where? It didn't ping me. All right, hang on. All right, so okay.
Extended episode.
Extended episode. Okay, here we go. This is the first ever. Viewer mail, and we don't have a song. We don't have like a segment song for it. So I'm gonna sing one right now. You ready?
Okay, here we go. Okay.
Can't get enough of that viewer mail. There you go. That's a song. And Squid can put like a little stinger on it.
Nice.
All right. Okay, so from the viewer mailbag, did you try any new foods this year?
Me? I actually think I had curry for the first time this year.
Okay, and what are your thoughts?
It actually wasn't bad, but it's like there's so many different kinds of curry that I need to try more.
Mm-hmm.
I also had legitimate ramen for the first time this year, and that was fantastic.
Did it have an egg in it?
It did, but I don't like egg yolks, so I didn't eat that part.
Right. Well, that's how I know it's real ramen and not the cupo noodles that we get up.
No, it was like an actual ramen joint, like a legitimate ramen joint. We've got a couple of those here.
Okay, I had figs this year.
Interesting.
Like the fruit.
Yeah,
they were good.
I don't think I've ever had figs before.
Yeah. They're not bad. I mean, I wouldn't be like, damn, gotta get it.
Let me go. Hey guys, you want to go get some figs?
Hey, you want to get my fig truck? All right. You get $1 million. That's a lot of money. But every day, there's a 1 in 5 chance that your clothes will have to be on backwards for the calendar day. You wake up, you get dressed, and 2 minutes later, your clothes are on backwards. You can take them off and fix it, but 2 minutes later, bam, backwards. You have to explain to everyone why you're dressed this way, or why you have your pants with a zipper in the front and a zipper in the back too. Do you take the money?
Oh, you get $1 million. You know what? I think I would.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I would invest a portion of the money to making clothes or buying clothes that reverse. Yeah.
Well, like even on top of that, I'm already such like a recluse. I don't go a whole lot of places, so it's like a win-win. I go to work and I go home, and like every so often I will go out to eat, but like not often. So it's like hell yeah, I'll take the money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, the worst case, you just have a little case of the front butt, you know. So stupid. All right. This one looks like it's for me. If I did a podcast about something other than speedrunning, what would it be about? All right.
Whatever you and Void would do.
Oh, dude. So that'd be really fun. There is another guest who I've talked to them about doing a podcast, and one day it'll happen. I can't say who or anything, but one day it'll happen.
Ooh.
You know, I think I would make one about movies, and I've always kind of liked these like video essays, although I don't have the energy to make. I can record an hour and a half dump of my thoughts about any given film, but I don't think I have it in me to do like a 30-minute concise essay about a video the way that some of the other channels are able to do it so succinctly. So I would probably do a podcast where I watch a movie and then spend like 40 to 45 minutes talking about it.
Kind of do like a book club kind of a thing?
Yeah, maybe like a book club, yeah. Also, I would totally like just read through some headlines. Like I'd pick like 3 or 4 headlines and just talk about those. You know, like talk about the story or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it would probably be up my alley. I never want to do a sports podcast ever again.
There's already so many of those.
Yeah, and it's like you got to have something that was like is accessible for the people that already listen to this one. Otherwise, you're starting from scratch. So, okay. So that's a couple questions from this one. Let's see. What was your favorite video game of 2021?
My favorite game of 2021. It's a 3-way tie.
Okay.
One of them wasn't made in 2021, but I played it a lot in 2021.
Sure.
And that was Slay the Spire.
Okay.
I love Slay the Spire. I actually was playing that at work yesterday while I was waiting to go home. But like I love Slay the Spire. I love the way that it makes you have to think a lot. I love roguelikes. And then Monster Hunter Rise. I love Monster Hunter games. I can't wait for the PC port. But it brought a lot of cool new things. You got to instead of just having like a cat pal, you now have a dog pal as well that you can ride around, and it's super cool. Mm-hmm. But I think the big one, and the most important one, is Metroid Dread. It was far and away like a game that I was not expecting to be as good as it was. But let's reverse that question onto you.
Oh my.
Yeah. What were your favorite games of 2021?
If I were to do a top 3 in the way that you did, I would say that I really liked. It's kind of hard, you know. I was trying to think about what I played a lot this year.
You played a lot of Minecraft, it seems, towards the end of the year.
At the end. Not for the whole year, though. I played a lot of... Okay. Let's just think about this rationally. New Pokemon Snap was obviously a dream come true. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Big for you.
Big, yep. It didn't bite me the way it did a lot of my other friends, but yeah. Number 2 is it was probably you know, it's such a hard question. I think I'm just gonna say that my favorite game of the year was Mario Party Superstars. It was like the best version of Mario Party in forever.
Yeah, it definitely, from what I saw of you playing it, it definitely looked like a lot better than some of the previous ones that have come out.
Mm-hmm. I played Majora's Mask this year. That was fun.
Ooh.
I haven't played it before. Yeah. Okay. This one's a good one. What would you do to try to survive the Hunger Games?
I would try and pull what PETA did and just try and make myself look like the scenery.
You just hide in a bush.
Just camouflage myself and then just wait for the time to strike and just be like, "Whatcha?"
I could not stand the anxiety of a game like that, knowing that I was gonna die. So, I could not wait patiently, clinging to life, knowing that most likely I'm going to die. So my strategy to live is to immediately grab an axe and charge around like a bull elephant.
Oh yeah, you just berserker your way through.
Yeah, like beat my chest, go full adrenaline, and just slaughter people. Yeah, that would be my... And however far I get, I get. If I get killed, at least I don't have to worry about maybe dying in my sleep or while I'm taking a shit, right? Just like, I can't deal with that. I can't sleep in a tree. I can't like do any of that stuff. So
you don't want to be Elvis?
I can't climb a tree. I can't ride a bike. So, and I can't shoot a gun. So give me a bat or like an axe and let me take someone out before I go out. That's me being real with myself.
That's reasonable. That's reasonable. It's a good tactic.
Yeah. Like some people are like, I'm just gonna run away. Yeah, good luck with that. I'm gonna charge into people. I'm gonna be chasing you. That's who I am as a person. I want you to. I don't want to win the Hunger Games. I want you to lose.
I like that one. It's just like, I may not win, but neither are you.
Void's at his deathbed, and he's like, he got hit with a poison arrow. He's like, suck my donkey dick. Before his execution. So, people have been DMing me that, by the way. It's like, I need this as a soundbite.
I have a question for you from that, actually.
Oh, from the Void podcast? Go ahead.
What happened with that computer in the middle of nowhere?
Oh! The thing in the field?
Yeah.
It's not there anymore.
Did it get stolen?
They took something of it. They took part of it. And then and then I remember I didn't bring it back. Someone else brought part of it back, but it was missing some shit.
Man.
Yeah, fucking stupid.
I was crying that whole story because I was laughing so hard. I'm just like, only at CJ's work. This would only happen to him.
Yeah, like they just set a computer up in this vagrant field. My boss he'll sometimes have the nerve to ask me what I do, and I'm like, bruh, do you not know that I'm at the epicenter of every fucking problem? I am like your problem solver. Just because it's peaceful right now doesn't mean I'm not working. I'm trying to get myself back up to a place where I can handle a situation like running a computer out into a field.
And just trying to figure out why the fuck you want it.
Yeah, right? Like, what are you... And then here's the thing. He's a brilliant man. I would never take that away from him. I would never say anything else. But sometimes... Oh my God. Sometimes, it's like, nobody is going to use this. Nobody's going to use this. Like, I remember there was something similar where it's like, set up the spreadsheet for this guy. And it took me every day. It required 30 minutes of me making this spreadsheet for this guy. And the guy didn't use the spreadsheet. And I had to do it for a month to be like, the guy's not using it. And he's like, why don't you use it? Because it doesn't load on my phone. It's like,
wow.
Yeah, wow, okay, thanks.
So, glad you wasted a half hour of your time every day for a month.
Yeah, that was every morning. All right, let's see. What is your least favorite fun fact you learned in 2021?
My least favorite fun fact?
That's a good one.
Okay. So this is really fucking weird, and I don't know why my coworker knew this.
Right?
I didn't look it up to see if it was true or not, so for all I know, it could be wrong because I don't want this in my Google search history.
Okay.
But in the state of Missouri, you can legally have intercourse with an animal as long as you can prove you are not harming it in any way.
Oh, God, that can't be true.
I hope it's not, but I am not Googling that.
All right, bestiality in the state of Missouri.
CJ taking one for the team.
While lawmakers have kept gay sexual acts legal in Missouri, it is legal to have sex with an animal. Because there is... Okay, so there's not a... Here's the thing. It's not that there is a law that says you can fuck a cow. It's that there isn't a law. And so as long as you don't harm it, that's the loophole. Right?
Wow. Wow, Missouri. Wow.
Because it does fall under the category of abuse. Right? And by the way, I'm just saying... That was the article that I read. That was verbatim the article I read. Yeah, that was something.
Those of us on this podcast and those involved with Speed Ducks do not condone bestiality in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, yeah, we don't.
So that is my least favorite fun fact that I learned this year. Yeah, how do you top that one, CJ? Go for it.
Well, you kind of Borznined mine a little bit, because mine was that it's not illegal in every state of the union to have sex with a horse. So let me think of another one. I think it was that the Japanese dropped like fleas over China during the Second World War that were contained with like the bubonic plague.
What the fuck?
I think that, yeah. And they also experimented on like human subjects during the war.
Wow.
Yeah, I read that today, I think. I read that this morning in an article.
Well, damn.
If I read it this morning in an article, for sure the article came from Reddit. So, as in, there was like one of those like Ask Reddits that's like fishing for a stupid like BuzzFeed story.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my god, if that is true and that is real, that is beyond fucked up.
A little bit.
Just airdropping fucking fleas with the plague. God, I don't know if China has like the technology for the cure that we have for it. They might.
In 1940, I don't know if they did. They did some other stuff, like they like saw if a baby could survive after being frozen to like -5 degrees, or like they blew people's legs off and then saw how long it took them to bleed out. You know. So,
wow.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. You know, like that's some fucked up shit.
All right, cool. So we both have some pretty fucking terrible fun facts that we learned this year.
Yes, and now you learned them for 2022, audience.
Oh my
okay,
God.
and then we'll get one more in, and we'll save the rest for another episode. What is your favorite food or drink that is no longer possible to buy?
Well, you go first, because I got to think.
There were Tarzan-themed ice pops from, like, the early... whatever the Tarzan movie came out, 99. And they had Tarzan branding on them, and they started selling them at my local corner store, and they were called It's a Kadoozy. And it was, like, a cylindrical ice pop that was, like, lemon flavored or something, and then it had, like, colored stripes along the outside, and those were flavors. Also, in that same vein, Fred Flintstone Push Pops. They came, you could get grape, cherry, and orange. My dad would go in there, and he would open up a box, and he'd fill it full of orange Push Pops, and bring it home.
Wow.
It was like sherbet, milky sherbet in like a cardboard tube.
Oh man. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is no longer possible to buy, but I can't find it because I think it was just a limited thing for last year's Christmas time. But it was a dark chocolate ice cream with white chocolate fudge and peppermint bark in it.
Ooh, that does sound good.
It was so good, and me and my partner got addicted to it last year, and we can't fucking find it.
Oh.
And it's just so sad because it's just like, I love dark chocolate, I love white chocolate fudge, and I love peppermint bark. Wow. It was just like, you put all three of them together, it was so good. And I can't find it anymore.
So good!
Or to throw in some Monster Hunter. So tasty!
Wow! All right. That is the end of the first ever viewer mail, and it is the end of this episode of the Speedrun Insider All Stars podcast,
in which we talked about zero speedrunning.
Yeah, no speedrunning at all. You know what? When you're going off the cliff, just hit the gas, baby.
And this is an All Stars episode, damn it. We talked about speed running in the last one.
Exactly. I'm not beholden to any rules.
who
My
who
show.
cares about rules?
All right. I want to thank Jake for being on the show. I want to thank everybody who got Jake on the show by reacting to messages in the Discord that got him to be the ninth guest in the All Stars show. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you everybody for listening each and every week. Remember to keep liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing the show. Share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors, share it with your neighbors' kids. They have little fingers. It's hard for them to push the buttons. Again, thank you so much, Jake, for being on the show. And I will see you next time with another episode of the Speedrun Insider Podcast. Bye-bye.